Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Have you ever looked at a huge, overwhelming task and thought, you know what? I'll just start that tomorrow? I think we've all been there. Today, I want to tell you a little story. It's about a gardener, and to be honest, it's a story about me. So picture this. A nice little plot of land, my own backyard. I had this grand vision for it. I'm talking a full-blown English cottage garden. Roses climbing up trellises, neat little rows of vibrant vegetables, a winding stone path, maybe even a charming little bench under a shady tree. I spent weeks, maybe even months, planning it all out. I had sketches, lists of plants, and a Pinterest board that was a work of art in itself. My plan was perfect, flawless even. The only problem? The garden itself was a mess. Weeds were having a party, the soil was hard and compacted, and a few sad forgotten shrubs were barely hanging on. Every morning I'd look out my window, coffee in hand, and say, okay, this weekend. This weekend is when the great transformation begins. The first weekend came. It was a bit cloudy. I thought, the light isn't great for this kind of work. Better to wait for a sunny day. I'll start tomorrow. The next day was sunny, but then I thought, it's too hot now. I'll get heat stroke. Best to wait for a cooler day. This became a pattern. My excuses were as creative as my garden plan. I need to buy a better shovel first. I should really read one more book on companion planting before I start. Oh, my favorite show has a marathon on today. I can't miss that. My grand plan for tomorrow was always so magnificent, so perfect, that the messy reality of today just seemed unappealing. Meanwhile, my neighbor, let's call him Dave, had a different approach. Dave wasn't a master planner. He just did things. One afternoon, I saw him outside pulling weeds. Not all of them, just a small patch. He spent maybe 15 minutes at it. The next day, he was out there again, turning over a small square of soil. Then he'd add a little compost to it. Another day, he planted a single tomato plant. A single one, I almost scoffed. My plan had 27 heirloom varieties. His progress was slow, almost unnoticeable at first. His small daily efforts didn't look like much. They certainly didn't look like the grand before and after shot I had in my head. But day by day, his little patch of green started to take shape. While I was still perfecting my blueprint, Dave was harvesting his first round of lettuce. While I was debating between 6 types of mulch, he was staking up his now thriving tomato plants, which were already covered in little green fruits. One morning, a few months later, I was looking out my window, still holding my perfect plan. My yard was, if anything, even wilder. The weeds had taken my procrastination as a personal invitation to conquer the territory. But when I looked over at Dave's yard, I was stunned. It wasn't an English cottage garden, but it was beautiful. It was alive, full of color, buzzing with bees, and producing actual food. His small, consistent actions had compounded into something real, something tangible. That was my light bulb moment. My perfect plan for tomorrow was just a dream, a fantasy. It was a way for me to feel productive without ever getting my hands dirty. It was an excuse to avoid the discomfort of starting small and imperfectly. Dave's messy, one-step-at-a-time approach, on the other hand, had created reality. I realized that a single weed pulled today is infinitely more valuable than a whole garden weeded in my imagination tomorrow. A single seed planted today has a chance to grow, while 1,000 seeds in a packet on my shelf will never see the sun. That very afternoon, I went outside. I didn't try to tackle the whole yard. I didn't even look at my grand plan. I just picked one small, manageable square about the size of a doormat, and I started pulling weeds. It took me 20 minutes. It wasn't much, but when I was done, I had a patch of clear earth. It was a start, a real one. The next day, I turned over that soil. The day after, I mixed in some compost. And a few days later, I planted 3 small marigold plants I bought on a whim. It wasn't the 27 heirloom tomatoes, but it was something. It was real. This lesson goes so far beyond gardening. How many of us have a perfect plan to get fit, but we're waiting for Monday or the first of the month to start? How many of us want to write a book, but we're waiting for that perfect, uninterrupted block of time that never seems to arrive? We want to learn a new skill, start a business, or reconnect with an old friend, but we keep putting it off, waiting for the ideal conditions. The truth is, the perfect moment is a myth. It's a trap our mind set to protect us from the fear of failure and the discomfort of effort. The real magic isn't in the grand plan. It's in the small, often boring, consistent action. It's in showing up today, even if it's just for 5 minutes. That 5-minute walk is better than the marathon you plan to run next month. Writing one paragraph is better than the best-selling novel that exists only in your head. Making one healthy meal is better than the complete diet overhaul you're starting next week. My garden is still a work in progress. It doesn't look like my original perfect sketch. It's a little wilder, a little more chaotic, and it's evolved in ways I never planned. But it's real. I have flowers, I have vegetables, and that little bench under the tree. I'm sitting on it right now. I built it piece by piece on days when I only had a little bit of time. So my challenge to you today is this. What is that one small thing you've been putting off? That task you've been saving for a better tomorrow? Forget the grand plan for a moment. Just go and do one small piece of it right now. Spend 10 minutes on it. Pull one weed. Write one sentence. Do one push-up. Take the first tiny imperfect step. Because a small action today is where every great achievement begins. Tomorrow is a promise, but today is an opportunity. Thank you so much for listening to my story. I hope it resonated with you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more content. I'd love to hear in the comments what small action you're going to take today. Let's inspire each other. Until next time, take care.